Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco dishing out on movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here once again, and as you can tell, I'm really tired. I'm really tired. I gotta be honest, I don't have energy. I don't have any energy to watch another movie and film it and then watch a show tonight. I have so much to do, and I'm working really hard on something else, and I went to the bins with Safi, which is basically like picking through garbage to find gold. And I did find some gold, but I'm completely out of energy, and I just thought I might as well review a book, Goosebumps book, and what better book to review when I'm almost drained of energy than a book about people with drained energy, vampire's breath. Ugh. As you guys can tell, I did not like this book. I apologize for the tone of my voice too, but I'm really tired. I mean, I can barely even, I feel like I'm stepping on a button to press talking for myself to do this review. And I apologize too if you hear a motorcycle noise, but I'm in public and I just don't have anything else to do right now, so I want to film this little review. This book sucks. I really did not like Vampire's Breath. For starters, the story is completely flawed because I made the point in my Instagram review where I review all the books to keep a record. Vampires in R.L. Stine's universe, apparently they're so weak, they need special vampire's breath mist bottles plus blood. Like, vampires are already, they're already at a disadvantage because they have to drink blood to live. Well, in R.L. Stine's universe, they also have to have this special potion or this gas. I mean, it just that's so gay. Like, that's so weak. Like, R.L. Stine's vampires are a bunch of bitches. Like, they're even weaker than Twilight. Like, and he doesn't just need one every once in a while. He has like a cabinet in his castle full of vampire's breath, and he's got to have one like every day or so. He's got to have, and where does it come from too? It never happened to wonder that. Where does it come from? Where does the vampire's breath come from? Like, they could have had a good story about that. They could have said he's a special type of vampire. Maybe he was cursed by a witch or something, so that's why he needs vampire's breath. Maybe he had this tragic story where he was in love with a witch, and then she got mad at him and she cursed him into having to drink from vampires too. That could have been pretty cool. Maybe they could have had a part in the book where he gets another vampire and extracts the mist from them. That would have been really fucking creepy, really scary. I mean, just imagine it'd be like a Slappy in the Night of the Living Dummy series. Sorry, I'm just so tired. So I really think that the concept is flawed. It's a very weak, dumb concept because it's like just why in the first place? Like, why? There's no point other than the fact that it's basically the plot MacGuffin, and like nothing else in the plot can happen until people get the vampire breath. So I hate it. I hate that plot. I think it's stupid. I do kind of like the main plot though. You have these kids, brother and sister, and they accidentally discover this secret pathway down to the basement, and there's like an underground whatever, and you have Count Nightwing. And now let's talk about Count Nightwing, because he's weak, he's trash. He's really not scary. In fact, I'll say this. The episode is much better than this book. And in the episode, one of the reasons why it's better is because Count Nightwing is scarier. The actor who plays him has a certain, like a ferocity, like a meanness to him. Like he's a lot meaner and more sinister. You know, you really feel terror for those kids. Whereas in the book, you just kind of feel like, who cares? Like, the whole book, I mean, it's like, now I'm starting to get a headache thinking about this trash. The kids basically get taken back in time. That's another thing. How in the hell are vampires able to time travel? How? Why? How? Just please, make me understand. Don't just have all these random things that can happen and there's no sense of it. Like, at least in It Came From Beneath the Sink, they had an encyclopedia. You know, they had a whole explanation. This is the gruel. It does this. You can't do this. You can't do that. You know, you know everything about it. But in this, it's like he's got this plot MacGuffin vampire breath that can help you time travel. Where does it come from, though? How does he get it? Why does he need it? He needs it for his powers. So, drinking blood, being a vampire, that isn't enough. He needs vampire's breath, too. I just think that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. What a weak vampire. You know, I'll say, if you want to read a Goosebumps story about vampires, then go read Bats About Bats short story, because I actually really love that short story. I read it. It's in, I think it's Still More Tales to Give You Goosebumps, and that is a really, really fun, good vampire story, and it makes a lot more sense too. But these kids, they get time traveled. And I really loved that idea because they're actually in Count Nightwing's castle. And I thought, oh shit, like this is going to be way different than the episode. This is going to be really scary. But no, because immediately it's like the kids are just running around this castle having little hijinks. And it's almost like there's no danger at all. And so it's this boring, like just dull story where the kids run around, they're looking for vampire's breath. It's like a search, who can find vampire's breath first. It's like so stupid. The one thing I will say though is that there's this part where the kids are trying to escape, which is stupid in the first place, because if they escape from the castle, what is that going to do? Like, they still need to get back to the present time. So I just thought that was stupid too. These are dumb kids, and we'll talk about the kids too. But they're trying to escape, and then Count Nightwing actually becomes a bat and takes them back into the castle. And what that reminded me of was Scars of Dracula, the Hammer Dracula movie, if you've seen that. That one is one that people really consider Dracula to be the most brutal in. And I would say that the book, out of all the vampire-related things, this did kind of remind me of Scars of Dracula. And so I kind of like that. But I really wish this book needed to push boundaries. Okay, if you're going to do a vampire book, a vampire anything, you have to push boundaries. And it might not make people comfortable, but you can always bargain for the boundaries. Okay? Because you have The Girl Who Cried Monster. What does everyone like about The Girl Who Cried Monster? No matter who people are, what does everyone like? The scene where the librarian eats turtles. Why do they like that? Because that pushes the boundaries. And there's nothing like that in any other Goosebumps book. And so that's why people like that. I mean, that's a really good book. It's a pretty good read, uh, looking back on it now. And there's nothing like that in this book that pushes the boundaries. And I think that that's the biggest problem, is that once again, we have another story where it just plays it safe. And I'll say this, I enjoyed Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes more than this book. So that's where we are with that. Like, Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes, I didn't even like that book at all. I thought it was a complete waste of time, but it was still better than this. And so the kids, it's so boring. It's like nothing really happens. And then there's this, now this is the worst part of the book. The worst part of the book is the girl who comes in and they think that she's a normal girl. Turns out she's a vampire. And, we've seen that a million times in the Goosebumps books. I thought that was a stupid thing to do. And once again, you know what you could have done from that? You could have had Count Nightwing take a kid vampire and say, I'm going to get the vampire's breath the old-fashioned way. And then he, opens her mouth and, I don't know, cuts her tongue with his fingernail. And then, I don't know, he sniffs gas out of her tongue cut or something, something really, really terrifying. And she's not a kid, she's a vampire, so, it doesn't count as killing a kid technically, but that could have been a really memorable scene in the Goosebumps series. And that kind of stuff is the reason why these books are not as good, is because you look at the cover of this book, that beautiful cover, you have this vampire. It doesn't really look like a scary vampire at all, but he's in his coffin. It's a very colorful picture. You see the vampire's breath, you see a rat, lots of purple, and it's such a nice, beautiful cover. And then you open the book, and there's no risks taken like that. There's nothing. It's like this could have been written by a 2-year-old. This could have been written by a robot. It was so generic and so dull. And then you get to the end where they're fighting for the monster. I mean, not the monster blood, the vampire's breath. And it's like a big fight over who gets it, and it's just really dumb. And they take him back to the future. That's another thing. The kids somehow use the vampire's breath to time travel. Okay. And then I will say I did like the twist in the episode where it turns out that the kids and the vampire are related, because I thought that was actually a great relief. It's probably one of the best reliefs in Goosebumps history. And what I mean by that is you have, how the plot gets resolved, I guess you could say. I thought that was a very nice twist. And it's just a very satisfying ending that, okay, this is cool. They went back to the future. They find out he's related to them. I thought that's pretty fun. That's fine with me. I thought that was cool. But then after that, they just had to end it with another stupid, dumb twist where the kids find werewolf sweat. Wow. Werewolf sweat. So that raises even more questions. I guess the werewolves in this Goosebumps book series, I guess they're so weak and trash that they need sweat. Where do you get werewolf sweat? Where do you get it? Just werewolves are what are they doing? Are they holding cups underneath themselves while they do jumping jacks or something? This is the stupidest shit ever. A werewolf's breath, just why did you have to do that? You already had a twist. You had the fact that they're related. You didn't need anything else. And so, you know what? All those fucking people who complain about the episode where the kids at the very end, the twist is that they have coffin beds. All those fucking people, F off. Because you know what? That goofy, cheesy twist is a million times better than the twist in this book, Werewolf Sweat. That has to be, I mean, I should really just do a video ranking all the twists in Goosebumps, because there are so many trash twists. And the funny thing is that they didn't even need them. Like, this book didn't even need that. Like, it just raises so many questions, and it's not funny, it's not fun, it's just stupid. It's stupid. There's so many Goosebumps werewolf books. That's another thing, is that, okay, apparently in R.L. Stine's universe, werewolves need werewolf sweat. So now I'm going to read Werewolf Skin, Werewolf at Fever Swamp, and if they're not guzzling down werewolf sweat, I'm going to be pissed off. Okay? That's what this book did. And not only that, but it also, people have brought up before, it copies the twist in Girl Who Cried Monster, kinda. But I'm still fine with it, because actually, I think both twists, even though they're similar, I think they both work well for their stories. But yeah, this book is a disaster. It is a big wasted opportunity, really. And I'm going harder on it because I love vampire movies, shows. I love vampire things. I grew up watching vampires. I watched vampire stuff all throughout my life. And my favorite movie is Fright Night, a vampire movie. So vampires are very near and dear to me. So when I see something like this, and you can trust me, you can trust my opinion. You might not trust my opinion on anything else, but when you see me, a vampire fan, say that this is trash, boring, dull, uninteresting, generic, lifeless, when you see that, you can believe it. Okay? I'm not going to lie to you about vampires. I'm not going to lie to you at all about vampires. Okay? This was a very mediocre, uninteresting, trash book. I have to give this book another D-. And I should give it an F. Because it had so much potential. And, are there any other vampire books in the Goosebumps series? I don't even know. I don't think so. So he blew his chance with this one. His one chance. Just imagine if he died today. He blew his one chance at writing a great Goosebumps vampire book. And to me, that's a problem. So I'm tired. I'm probably going to take a nap now. Vampire's Breath sucks. Don't read it at all. Write your own story. Maybe I'll write a story so you guys can listen to that, because, just thinking about it, there's potential there. That's the frustrating thing with all these Goosebumps books, is that there's a lot more potential there than what he puts on the page. What he puts on the page is the most uninteresting option. Always. Almost always. So I'm disappointed in this book. And please like this video if you liked it. If you like this long review of a Goosebumps book, because I'm tired. Subscribe if you'd like to see more Goosebumps book reviews. And then please comment and tell me what you thought about Vampire's Breath. Because I really hated it. I hated it. It was trash. And Count Nightwing, he's trash too. He's not even scary. That's another thing, is that if you have a vampire anything, even if the story sucks, even if it's the worst vampire movie ever made, If the vampire himself is good, that lifts up the movie or story by 20%. And I'll give you an example. Christopher Lee, Satanic Rites of Dracula. That movie's a piece of shit. That movie's a piece of dog shit. That movie's a piece of vampire bat doo-doo. And Christopher Lee's Dracula, he raises the movie 25 million% with his portrayal of Dracula in that movie. If he wasn't in that movie, I wouldn't even ever watch it again. But since he's in it, I would. So that's how much R.L. Stine messed up with this one. Okay, Count Nightwing isn't even a good vampire. He's trash. So goodbye, everybody. See you soon.